Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Wednesday, and all today's guests, including Tom Gazzola up in Edmonton, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. Seas coming off a 12-8 win against Eugene last night, which extended, we talked about this yesterday, their club record win streak to 11 games. Their next homestand begins next Tuesday night against Tri-City, and it features a fireworks night, nooner, Marvel Superhero Day, and a White Spot Family Fun Sunday. Check out the full schedule and get your tickets at canadiansbaseball.com or call 604-872-5232. Just before we get to Tom Gazzola, we have no shortage of people in the Delaney's OK Tire in Langley and Aldergrove inbox. People talking about a possible trade between Edmonton and Vancouver. Demko for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, of course, a Burnaby boy. Would do wonders for both teams, according to the people in our inbox. Tom
Why
Gazzola.
would the Canucks send Demko into the division, and then he goes and regains his Vezina form, and they're shoving it down your throat?
People are having fun.
Stop, Don.
Tom Gazzola,
not happening. Not happening.
Tom Gazzola joins us now, host of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you? What do you think? Demko?
Yeah.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, done deal.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I see that some Canucks fans think on the same level as some Oilers fans, and that's in La La Land, or Delulu, as the kids are saying. But I can't see that happening. Yes, the Oilers need goaltending help, but you know what? Baby Nuge, he is, I know he's from Burnaby, but he's an Oiler through and through, and I think he's going to be Mr. Oiler and lead the franchise in games played. He'll pass by Kevin Lowe soon, and he's committed to the city. His girl's from Alberta, so I can't see that one happening, but I understand where it comes from. So I know I said Delulu to Canucks fans, but I get what you're starting from there when you bring that up.
Well, you're going to hear about it now. Hey, Tom, was this simply a matter of a very good hockey team, the Oilers, a very good hockey team, getting beaten by a better one?
Yeah, Donnie, that's a great way to describe it. I mean, we talked about the avenues in which maybe Edmonton could find a way to win the series. We talked about it yesterday, obviously, going into Game 6. But it seemed like the Panthers just had the answer for everything the Oilers tried to throw at them, and they found a way to blanket Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I mean, for crying out loud, Draisaitl couldn't even get shots on goal the last couple of games, and McDavid just the one goal in the series. So this Florida team, very thorough. They know how to win, obviously, and they kind of laid the boots to the Oilers, dominating. And how long they led the series, I know that number was alarming. It was thrown out on the broadcast last night, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. And, you know, the Oilers played a pretty damn good playoff, but they met their match in the Florida Panthers. And yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it wasn't as close as people thought, but tough one here. People are very, very sad around here. I'll add that. So if that makes Canucks fans feel better, I'll give them a little nugget there.
3 games in a row, the Oilers fell behind either 2-0 or 3-0. What's up with just the Panthers early pouncing on Edmonton every game?
Yeah. You know what? You could even say that the Panthers forced Edmonton's hand and they took the play to the Oil. Like, I think outside of the first 3 minutes last night, it was all Panthers. Like, Edmonton had a good first shift. They were laying the body. They hit Brad Marchand. I know Perry ran through him, and people were hoping for that. But outside of those 3 minutes, they got like 1 or 2 chances. It was all Florida. And they just found ways. And, you know, Reinhart scores a beautiful goal after, you know, Matthias Ekholm launches a grenade at Evan Bouchard, who tries to sweep it, and it goes nowhere, right to Reinhart, and he makes a nice move and buries it. I think that really let a lot of the wind out of the sails. And then the second goal, you know, was crushing. And then I think it was game over by the time the third one went in. But this Florida team was prepared. They dominated the first period. Edmonton would have little bursts here and there. I just think Edmonton didn't have a solution to what Florida could do, and that was attack in waves and consistently and pester you and be on top of you, as everybody likes to say. And Florida was just, they smelled blood and they took full advantage. And yeah, it started out early in games in the last few, and it showed on the scoreboard.
Tom, every playoffs we hear depth. The team that has depth goes deep. Florida, 6 guys with 20 points plus, and then the Oilers lose Zach Hyman, which was a crushing blow. That guy, that's a big part of their hockey club. But that depth on Florida, they just throw 4 lines at you, 3 pairs of D. It's just such an impressive hockey club.
That third line, I mean, Brad Marchand with Luostarinen and Lundell, that they had a great playoffs, and then they're charted in at the third line, and they could be the top line on a lot of teams. Like that is a true testament of a great team, and Bill Zito and the Panthers staff, they did a great job, and Edmonton did have depth. Edmonton's depth dried up, obviously, in the Cup final because of how good and how solid the entire lineup of the Florida Panthers were. And I think, now we're going to see teams try to emulate what the Panthers have put together, but it's crazy too, because you look at what the Dallas Stars had, you look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Those were teams that were lauded for their depth, and Edmonton kind of made short work of them. And really, until the Cup final, it was the LA Kings that kind of had the Oilers on their heels briefly in that first round series, and people are looking at them and going, maybe they weren't as good as we initially thought in the regular season. Then Florida goes and blows the doors off of the Oilers the way they did, and it's like you saw the stages of depth with these teams throughout the postseason, and even looking at Edmonton going into it, you go, boy, geez, they're getting contributions from like Podkolzin, who scored their goal last night. Connor Brown was playing well. Corey Perry had 10 goals in this playoffs. That's depth, but then it kind of was snuffed out in the Stanley Cup final by Florida's depth. So it just shows you how much you have to elevate your game and where the Panthers are compared to everyone else. Even though they didn't have a tremendous regular season, they were built for the playoffs, and man, they crushed it. Credit to them.
Talking with Tom Gazzola, Edmonton Sports Talk. Connor McDavid, he's clearly frustrated, even though you get to Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row, which is quite the accomplishment. Canuck fans are jealous. 1 year left on his contract. What's in his future?
Quite likely staying here. I know everybody around here wants that to be the case, and you just look at some of the things that have happened in and around Edmonton, including with Leon Draisaitl. I'll start there. The extension for Draisaitl last summer, I think, was huge. He was asked about Connor McDavid, extending this offseason. He kind of laughed it off, but you understood what he meant by the way he laughed it off, and kind of like, yeah, you'd probably sign here. Connor McDavid's wife just opened up a new business. She, bought or leased a building downtown, breathed new life into it. She has a lot of business happening here on top of this new bar. So those little indicators there. I mean, they own property here, and then you look at the chance to win a Stanley Cup. Well, where's Connor McDavid going to do that? Probably here. Like, this is a team that went to back-to-back finals. Will they take a step back next year, guys? Yeah, maybe. They played a lot of hockey in the last couple of years, but they're still in that window, and just with some retooling, realistically, from Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman, this team could be back in the next couple of years in a Cup Finals. So when you look at it, he should be staying here. He's probably going to extend here, and I know it's fun. And you want to talk about Delulu, and you hear the Toronto people saying he's signing in Toronto. Let's tap the brakes on that. He's probably going to extend here in Edmonton.
Goaltending, in all seriousness, we talked about Demko for RNH a little bit earlier. What are they going to do there? Are they going to move forward with Stuart Skinner, who's such a nice guy, by the way? I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, great guy. I'll start with that too. Good point, Donnie. Like he's a good Edmontonian. Sound really nice. He's the first guy to go give kids high fives if they're at Oilers practice. He'll talk to you. He'll give you the time of day. He'll try to remember your name. All those little things that people appreciate. And then on the ice, it's people do forget that this was his third full season in the NHL. He's been to 2 Cup Finals. He was a Calder Trophy finalist. He's been an All-Star. Like, the resume is actually pretty good. Now, this year, you have to look at the numbers, and they were not good enough. They indicate a step back from Stu Skinner. And, part of that was, some weak performances on his part. But there were nights, especially early in the season, where Edmonton's defense, guys, just wasn't good. The commitment to their own zone from a 5-man unit perspective was sloppy, and they got burnt a bunch of times, especially in the early part of the season. And then, Stu Skinner took a lot of the heat for some of those nights, and really he didn't deserve all the blame. But in the postseason, a sub 900 save percentage, that's generally not going to get the job done. So you have to look at that. Teetering around the 3.0 goals against average in the playoffs. That's not good. I mean, if he wasn't getting a shutout, he was getting touched up for 5 or 6. Those wild swings game to game are tough to swallow. The good thing is he's 26 years old. He's got a good track record, nice resume, like I mentioned, and the future is bright for him. I think it should be here in Edmonton, but if you're the Oilers and you're in win now mode and you don't have that faith in Stu Skinner, then what are you going to do? I mean, Calvin Pickard gave you one of the best backup seasons ever. I mean, what more can you ask for? He had a 20-win season, 7-1 in the playoffs, but is he the guy? Like, can you go back with these guys and make a run next year? I think that's a legitimate question, and they might have to address it. And there's been talk about getting a 1B, someone who can work hand in hand in tandem with Stu Skinner and maybe could carry the load in the postseason. But you look at Pickard, 7-1. Like, how much better can it get? And so it's just maybe it's an optics thing. Maybe you need to have that proven, tried and true star in net. And a lot of people are talking about John Gibson. Yeah. Carter Hart's name has been thrown around, but his situation is obviously very murky.
Yes.
We'll see. I think they're going to have some serious conversations, and goaltending will be one of them.
Was there a riot last night at Edmonton?
No, it was sad. Sadness.
What kind of a fan base is that?
Yeah, what's going on here?
What do you mean? Where would you get that idea, guys?
Exactly.
Well, you know what I saw a lot of on Twitter anyway was Oiler fans fighting each other.
Yeah.
Outside. I know alcohol might have something to do with that, but what was going on there?
Yeah, it's disappointing. As someone from the city, you see orange and blue going toe to toe with orange and blue, but sadly, it's not new. And you're right, some liquid courage goes into it, and people maybe didn't mix in a water, so those do pop up. It's not great, but I'll say this: guys throwing fists, and unfortunately, girls too sometimes throwing fists is better than smashing businesses and breaking stuff.
Okay, you got us there.
Yeah. I'll go with that. I mean, it's not much solace, but it's something.
Hey, Tom, you've been on our show before. We can't thank you enough. Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.